Welcome to yet another episode of Plug in India. We are in the city of Hyderabad today, Sangareddy to be precise. And this is Pure EV's factory. All of you may have heard of Pure EV, the electric startup, electric vehicle startup, which is also incidentally into battery manufacturing. And with me is Abhishek.
Hello viewers, so this is the first time for Atul at the Pure EV factory. This is my second time. We were here last time 2 years ago and a great deal has happened since then. We've been through this massive pandemic, but Pure EV has not sat quiet. They have chugged along this entire time, and today we are here to see what exciting products they have in development and plan to launch in 2021. So without further ado, let's go.
Pure EV is a Hyderabad-based EV startup selling electric two-wheelers. The company was incubated out of IIT Hyderabad in early 2015. They have been manufacturing high-performance lithium-ion batteries and electric vehicles since 2018. Pure EV has an impressive portfolio of electric two-wheeler products for the Indian market at an affordable price point. And today we are here to get a behind-the-scenes look at the company.
Financially, we were not really worried to the extent that how the entire brand is going to emerge post this, because especially in the month of March when the shutdown was announced, initially the impact was not known. After 1-2 months it became more severe, and what we noticed, however, that after from June onwards the recovery also has been extremely good, going all the way till the festival season of Diwali, Dussehra. They were fairly good for the company, and our e-Pluto 7G model, which was launched in February last year, so the response came extremely good. And definitely we are thankful to all the entire Pure EV staff as part of management that the hard work done by them has delivered so much of good results.
We have been using Pure EV's products almost every day for the last year. Kamlesh, for example, owns an e-Trans. What we love about Pure EV's products are the quality of the batteries and the affordability and cost efficiency and the value for money that they provide. All this has resulted in a great demand for these vehicles in the Indian market. Let's find out how the e-Pluto 7G and the e-Trans Neo are performing for Pure EV in terms of sales.
Hi, myself Kiran. I'm looking after business development in Pure EV. So we are working in like 4 major states. Like southern parts we are focusing more, and talking about sales growth in Pure, we have observed almost 5 times increase in our sales for last 5 to 6 months time. If we compare the sales between high speed versus low speed, we could see the sales number is increasing in high speed vehicles. Nowadays the trend has been changed. Earlier people used to buy low speed vehicles by thinking that like non-registration, no license is required and all.
Not many Indian two-wheeler companies invest in design engineering. Fewer still strive to have a unique design aesthetic. So I was curious to see Pure EV's design philosophy. Hence, I decided to meet the design team and see what kind of work they were doing.
Let me take you into the design room to meet my team. This is my team who works very creatively to make the products that we see in the market today.
So here I'm showing you some of the CAD work, design related work. These are the chassis we have modeled, what are being used in the vehicles. One is for e-Trans and one is for e-Pluto. Then these are like another vehicle chassis. These are the scooter seat buckets, seats, battery packs. These are the CE part. So where we do the structural vibrational analysis. This is the modal analysis. Then this is the this one is the modal analysis for e-Trans plus chassis, and this is the multi-body dynamics analysis. This is the handlebar analysis.
One of the good things about Pure EV is that they are amongst very few companies in India which actually make their own battery packs. Right? A lot of them are vended items for EV companies. Pure makes its own battery packs. Now please note, viewers, that making your own battery pack gives you control over the vehicle. Right? So all the systems have to talk to each other. right? So if there's something which is not talking well to the other, later on you have a user facing a problem, right? So that system approach is something which we really like at Pure EV. A battery typically accounts for between 30 to 50% of a vehicle cost, and if you want to keep your costs in control, which I'm happy to report Pure EV has been doing quite well, you need to have your own battery. For that, they have a collaboration with IIT Hyderabad, and we're going to be going there to find out what kind of new stuff is happening in battery packs. So that's something which makes ownership of a Pure EV vehicle cost effective. And let's go and find out how things work here at the battery division.
So these you can see are the various EV battery packs which are employed in the vehicles. So talking about the EV battery packs, we use an 18650 NMC chemistry because of its added advantage of higher energy density and power density. And these are in-house assembled and spot welded with a special design of bus bars which allows current carrying capacity and minimization of local hotspots. So other than that, we have equipped the battery pack with a smart BMS which monitors the voltage, current and temperature of the battery pack, and hence helps in overcharge protection, over discharge protection, and most importantly keeping the battery pack in the safe temperature band. Other than that, we have also engineered various packaging materials which are used in the battery pack, mainly for vibration isolation and also isolating the high voltage system from the metal enclosure so that it safeguards the customer. Pure EV has designed an artificial neural network algorithm and a system called as Batrix Faraday, which detects defective cells as well as series failures in a battery pack and automatically heals it through a very slow process. So what happens is cell defects and series failures are common in battery packs, and manual diagnosis and replacing those defective battery cells or series becomes time consuming and also increases the downtime. So this Batrix Faraday is an external hardware system which directly connects to the battery pack and automatically takes care of the healing process. So this will save a lot of man hours and also decrease the turnaround time of the battery pack. In short, we have reduced the service time at dealer level almost by 80% by this kind of a technology.
Viewers would probably be aware that India does not make its own cells, right? So we basically are importing the cells mostly from China, Taiwan, Japan, Korea, etc. Also to some extent US. However, one thing which is very different about Indian climate versus all of these countries is its heat, right? And in order for a battery pack to perform efficiently and safely, you need a very good thermal management system, right? And the BMS at Pure EV is doing that job. So let's find out what happens exactly as far as thermal management is concerned with the battery pack over here at Pure EV.
So a robust battery thermal management system becomes pivotal in any battery design because of two reasons. First and the most important is the safety of the battery pack, and the second is the performance and the cycle life. So thermal runaway, as we know, is a catastrophic event which happens, is a kind of a fire accident which happens within the battery pack. So we have collaborated with companies like Momentive, Dow Chemicals, for advanced packaging materials which will avoid these kind of thermal runaway scenarios, or at least prevent them from being a catastrophic event. This will also give the end customer sufficient amount of breathing time so that he can take the necessary actions and thus safeguard him. Pure EV has collaborated with made in India cell manufacturers like ARCI and CSIR SECRI for reducing the dependency on foreign countries for these lithium-ion cells and also making the battery supply chain more stronger. So what will happen with this kind of collaboration is we will be able to design and tweak the internal cell structure and chemistry according to our needs, and thus make the battery pack more stable and more safe. So there are many parameters like the electrode chemistries as well as the electrolytes, the separators, which play an important role, and thus by these kind of tie-ups we will be able to leverage those research facilities.
This is their latest electric motorcycle, the e-Trist. And it's a 350. The name is 350, which represents the 350 3.5 kWh battery. Launching in August 2021. Going to be available initially in Pune, Hyderabad and Bangalore. And those of you who are very keen about a test ride can go to pureev.in and do a booking for your test ride now.
Hi Atul. Atul may love the e-Trist, but I still love the classic e-Trans. This yellow baby here, I think it truly gives you a joyride.
So here's what we're going to be doing is we will walk you through the lab, and Mandar, let's start with this particular piece of equipment. I can see a lot of cells lined up over here. So what is this equipment doing actually?
Yeah, so this is a cell tester which is mainly used for identifying, the cycle life of cell and how each cell is behaving at different conditions. So we can actually simulate the actual driving profile of the vehicle through these cells and understand the cell behavior.
So what kind of cycle life is being targeted with the cells that we are using? How many cycles?
So we have given a warranty of 1500 cycles or 3 years for the battery pack, and we are confident that the existing cells can achieve that kind of cycle life.
Great. We've seen the battery cell tester. Now we move on to this kind of chamber which has some batteries inside.
Yes.
What's happening inside this chamber?
Yeah, so this is an environmental chamber which takes care of the temperature and the humidity. So what we usually do is we soak the battery packs, or we keep the battery packs at different temperatures and humidity levels to check the performance as well as degradation over time, so that it gives a better idea what is exactly happening inside the battery. So the Indian subcontinent has different temperatures in different geographical regions, and that is what we are trying to replicate in this particular chamber.
Mandar, what's the effect of humidity? Temperature I can understand, but what role does humidity play for a battery longevity or life or whatever?
See, humidity mainly will not play a major role since the battery casing is IP67, because that is one of the effects which we want to see whether there is any water vapor going inside the battery pack.
With Atmanirbhar Bharat, one of the stress areas for the government, especially for EV manufacturers, has been localization. Right? And we're kind of happy to report to you that a lot of the electronics now is happening here in India for Pure EV. One example is your motor controller. Right? And we are hoping that as we go on with time, more and more of the stuff is going to be made here in India, right? So that our import dependency is reduced and we seriously become the Atmanirbhar that our government wishes that the country should be.
This is Vignesh. I'm working here I'm working on range prediction algorithms and vehicle integration topic. Like in the vehicle integration part, your entire electric powertrain becomes an integral role along with the battery pack. So what we do here is like we do test the entire powertrain set along with the motor controller, plus your cluster, your throttle. Throttle requires based on the rider input, and along with the lock set, like what vehicle typically used to have. So based on that testing, we do benchmark the existing products, and the product improvisation can be done based on the benchmarked ones. So here we are having a demo of the entire powertrain set where the motor is mounted on the dyno, your LCD or in terms of cluster, like it is connected to the powertrain set. Here you have a controller which is given actually dyno is given the supply to the controller. Here you have a MCB plus your key set, like the wiring harness which connects all the electrical accessories inside the vehicle just been connected, and here we have a sample test. We do concentrate on localization part, especially with the electric powertrain, where we can localize the electric motor and along with the motor controller. Because what happens is the electric motor and motor controller are integrated in such a way that there is a driver software behind the controller, which holds the vehicle control system part, like based on your rider's input. based on the rider's input, this this driver software works, and it is being when it is being connected with the battery, your entire powertrain system got completed with the SOC at the end. So during this benchmarking, we do work on the parameters like what should we improve, and based on that parameters, we focus on the localization part, like whoever is giving the better procurements.
So we are here with Karthik ji today, and Karthik looks after service at Pure EV. Whenever a part fails, for example, I have a customer whose charger fails, and I go to a dealer. So the only thing the dealer says is, "Sir, buy a new charger."
Yeah.
Now there may be a small thing like a capacitor which has failed inside the thing, but the customer has to pay full cost for no fault of his. So I want to understand, is there something different that Pure EV has about such kind of repairs?
Yes, sir, surely. Yeah, we are the basic components like controller, charger, and converter. That these are all repairable parts.
They're repairable.
Yeah, they are repairable parts.
Okay.
So as per the customer, this and costing the parts where he can buy the new part by repairing them. So we recall all the parts where the old components we are recalling to the factory, and we are getting repaired in the low cost. So only customer can bear the minimum repair and logistical cost.
No, but this repair cannot happen at the dealer front.
Dealer front. Now we are calling it to factory level only.
Okay.
Soonly we will develop the repair centers at the area level.
What Karthik has shared with me is very interesting, and not just from a cost perspective, because obviously for the customer, anything which can be done at 100 rupees, why would you want to spend 3,000 rupees for that? But more importantly, from an environmental perspective, because that is so much less of electronics being dumped into garbage or waste bins or whatever it is, right? So it is better to reuse than to recycle, right? So you are ensuring that the life of your components is higher, and thereby the cost to the environment is lower. Right?
Yes.
So that's great work, Karthik ji. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm here with Gargi, who looks after the MIS function at Pure EV. And we wanted to understand from a viewer perspective, how is MIS, which basically collects data, make reports, that kind of a thing, how does that help end user of a vehicle?
So MIS, if we understand, the prime objective is to support all the operations finally. So all we do is we collect data from the dealer end, from the customer end, and we collect data in terms of what are the consumer expecting in terms of features, in terms of what all development even to the core of experience level issues also we try to get the knowledge on. And even with dealers, how are they, if they are facing any specific problem in catering to the consumers in some way.
So for example, spares, correct. So how does an MIS department help in spare parts management?
So we keep track and records of all kinds of service issues that comes up. We make analysis which helps in forecasting of what all spares will be needed in higher quantity with time. So that we again feed to the service department, and same is then passed on as a proposal or in terms of suggestions, like So we make standardized sheets where we give these are the list of spares you should maintain with these quantities. So there are combination of quantities, so it helps the dealer to plan his finance also, so he doesn't have to keep extra or anything less. And at the same time, the downtime of the vehicle also goes low, because if the consumer comes in, he gets the service as soon as possible. That is all we target for service.
So Gargi, nowadays a lot of companies spend a lot of money on online marketing, right? And at the same time, there are dealers who can't afford all this kind of online marketing. So does that create a conflict of sorts? How do you manage this at Pure EV?
So we provide extensive marketing support to the dealer as well, online as well as offline. So we have policies for offline, but mainly speaking about online leads, we have major lead generation from our website itself. So when a person comes to the website and fills the form dedicatedly, that means it's a very serious hot lead. So and we ensure that the lead ends up at the dealer level in terms of emails as well as messages, and even we ensure that follow-ups has been taken, that the dealer is in touch with the consumer. So it works both ways. For the dealer also, he is supported with the leads, and from the consumer also, he's been directed to the targeted local person.
Banks obviously are worried about, will this company actually last?
Yeah.
Correct, because there have been so many startups that have started and failed in the EV space. A lot of them with very, very low working capital, directly importing and doing nothing too much. So, what's your take on that? So, how will you make banks confident about the fact that you are here to stay? Or is there anything that you can tell even the end users for that matter?
So, as I already mentioned that we definitely have a backing of a very strong investor already, and we take pride in the fact that we are one of the very few startups, not just in the EV space, but in general across the startup wave which has come in India, that we are a profitable startup. We have been ever since the inception of the company, and the entire way we work is basically driven by cost innovation. At the end of the day, we believe that the entire cost advantage, the engineering innovation that we do should be passed on. One is the benefit to the customers, the higher margin to the dealers, and the company should be profitable. If all these things work together, then only the sustainability of a company is guaranteed. Even if either the consumer price is too high, or the dealer is making less margin, or the company is non-profitable, in either of these cases, the sustainability of the startup comes into doubt. So we believe that from the banking perspective, yes, bankability of the vehicles is doubt when the startup itself is under financial stress. That's not the case with us. But as an industry, we definitely wish that more people focus on the cost innovation. Yeah.
Rohitji, as we finish our visit today, one last question to you from our viewer side. What is it that we can expect from you in the coming few months?
So once again, thanks for this very important question. We look forward to this in a very growing phase at the company that we are sitting today. Definitely we intend to become in the top 3 brands in the entire EV space in the country.
Great.
In the coming by end of this calendar year. And we also have one media article we had released recently that's also about the launch of the motorcycle which is proposed. It's a very powerful drivetrain. We are targeting 85 km of top speed, and the range would be definitely minimum 100 kilometers. Now that kind of product is something which gives a lot of excitement personally, and our entire company is geared up towards that. So we will also be in the market for additional fundraise and everything. So but the idea is that we intend to become a very reliable brand, a trustworthy brand is how we want to emerge by the time we end this year 2021.
You've seen all the products that the company has to offer. You've seen the cutting edge work that they are doing here. It's been a long 2 days, but I think it was totally worth it to get a glimpse of the amazing potential that is on offer here. And Pure EV is becoming an integral part of the EV space in India. And I think the expectations are just going to get higher going forward. What do you think, Atul?
Well, it's been a great 2 days. I agree with you, Abhishek. I think for me, the high point has been the motorcycle. It's really something that you guys should kind of wait and watch, right? And I think they have a kind of killer on their hands. And of course, probably one of the very few companies who is making their own battery packs. So that's another thing which I kind of came impressed away with Pure EV. And I think the team at IIT Hyderabad, the way they're seeing an academic industry interface is something which we've seen at Ather at IIT Madras, and we're seeing at Pure EV at IIT Hyderabad. And I hope many more IITs will start such kind of collaboration, so that we get real competition amongst the IITs, and the ratings of the IITs in academic should be decided by how well these companies do. Yeah. So folks, thanks for being with us. We had a great time over here. One of the advantages of having an academic partner is the openness. A lot of companies that we have visited are not very, very open about letting us into their R&D, their vision, their thinking, the top management. But we've been given access to almost everybody over here. And thank you, Pure EV, for doing that. And if you have any comments and questions, please put it in the comments below, and we'll ensure that the Pure EV gives you answers to those. Thank you and take care.
And like and subscribe.